Hello everyone and welcome back again. My name is Donald Sorah and I am Associate Professor of Music at the University of Virginia's College at Wise. And I'm pleased to be here for another session, our session 4 of 5, in which I help you to prepare the All-State Prepared Selection for Trumpet for 2022. So today we're going to be talking about the B section of the piece. As we look in specific, there are some new rhythms that have popped up. So we're going to look at some new rhythmic motifs and talk about retrograde rhythms. So let's take a look at the piece. So if we're looking at measure B here, I don't know what measure that is, I'm zoomed in right now. We have this 1 and 2 and 3 rhythm, 4 16th notes and an 8th note. We're going to see that quite often through the B section. Here it is repeated, etc. So we also have what I'm talking about retrograde is if we take that backwards with the 8th note, then 4 16th notes, we have that rhythm happening in the line below. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, and 6, and then back to our original rhythm. So something to be aware of as you're counting through and learning the piece. Also, of course, make sure you're using a metronome when you're learning the rhythms as you're counting through, and watch out for ties, particularly in measures 17 and 19, which is right here in this area with this C sharp. Tied over the bar line, and then also tied over the bar line here, and once more tied over the bar line. Of course, with the retard, that gives us a little bit of leeway and some room to play with here. So watch those ties and make sure you hold notes for full value. Again, it's in the A section, which we've already reviewed, but that pops up again. All ties are very important. I feel that those people are adjudicating and be listening for those details as well. Are you holding notes full value? All right. So this is the time in which we go through and count through some of the rhythms. So I've once again provided a little cheat sheet version here, and I'll make that available for download. I'll try to provide a link in the comments here and make that available for download as on Google Drive or something to help you guys out. It is a bit overmarked. Maybe it's a little bit too colorful and too busy, but for some of you it might be helpful. So let's take a look at the B section. Okay, and we're going to use our system of labeling all 6 8th notes. So 8th notes are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. With the 16th notes added in, we now have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 in. So let's give that a try. Starting at B, we'll start right on B without the pickup. 1, 2, and 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 6, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 and 6, 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 5 and 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2 and 3 and 4, 5 and 6 and 1, 3, 4 and 5 and 6, 3, 4 and 5 and 6, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's the section. If you'd like to do that again, all you have to do is simply rewind, go to the marker that I'll provide to take you back to do that once more. Okay? Also, as you begin to count through these, it'd be a great idea to start incorporating dynamics. Maybe the first time, the first 2, 3 times you're learning the rhythms, and then you start to incorporate the dynamics as you count through the rhythms, because that'll take kill 2 birds with 1 stone to be violent, I guess. So now let's look at the key and the pitch of this section, of the B section. So we start out in the key of E flat, but not for very long, because we have E flats, A flats, and B flats. But not for very long. We start to jump in and we have some F sharps and let's see, a C sharp and an E natural from time to time. But all those are either scale based or they're arpeggio based. Sometimes the arpeggios are major, minor, sometimes diminished, but there are patterns behind it, which is the reason it makes sense when we play it. It's a very logically written etude. So, as I always recommend, to slur through the pitches and disregard the rhythm. So let's go through that process. We're starting at B, taking our time and listening carefully for the intervals, being meticulous. So if I make mistakes, I'm going to stop and fix those and move right on, making sure the airflow moves smoothly through all the intervals. So everything seemed to work pretty well for me that time. Pay careful attention to a couple accidentals here. I like to mark when they carry through the measure, and sometimes we might forget. We've had A flats before, and now at this point we're changing over to A natural. So that's why I have marked that to remind you. Also, watch out for the F sharp at the end of this line. It carries through from here. Make sure you don't miss that. Again, here's one that's easily missed. We have C sharp, E, G, B flat, C sharp because it's down there, the octave below, and also just because it makes sense in the arpeggio. That's a C sharp diminished 7 arpeggio, and that C sharp continues as we go into the next measure. So it's definitely a C sharp. So watch out for those accidentals as you play through here. Also, there's a few tricky intervals here that tend to not want to come out, the D to the A flat, so be very careful. Let your ear be quite discriminate to make sure you're catching that interval correctly. Also, an advanced tip here, we all know that we should kick out that third slide, or maybe first, depending on how you go about it. But this D, I have a feeling that those who are going to be adjudicating are going to be listening for that note to be in tune from the octave above down to the octave below. So make sure we get that slide extended, probably at the beginning of the measure, so that we're prepared for it. We can kick it back in, because we have an E flat coming up soon. Again, third valve slide extension for the C sharp. So I'm a little bit micromanaging here. So just be careful of those intervals. Go back and listen to what I did and maybe play along. Make sure your intervals are coming out correctly and make sure they're coming out with ease. If they're not coming out with ease, then you need to work on your airflow to make sure that you're using fast, cold air for the upper notes to pop those out and to skip over some of those partials that we might need to skip as we go through. We discussed that a little bit last time. Really not talking about any kind of tempo things just yet. That we'll save that for our next session. But in order to wrap up, I'd like to play through the excerpt slowly for you all and just make sure that your quality control of your practice sessions is very meticulous so that you don't learn those wrong intervals and just don't learn it the wrong way and have to erase and relearn. Okay, so here we go. This is B, the B section, with the pickup. Okay, thank you for tuning in. Hopefully this was helpful, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video, the last one. Make sure that you like the channel, like the video here, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell if you want to know when the next video is coming out. Thanks a bunch, and we'll see you around soon. Good luck on that audition.